Principles of Marketing, number 17. If the idea of a beardy, bespectacled English chap doing a save based in Italy wearing a Super Mario hat doesn't appeal to you, you now know this isn't the series for you. You can go on your merry way. We stop wasting any of each other's time. Hello and welcome to part 1 of the Milan mission. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we have our first game of the Serie A season at home against Udinese. Now, I've already said this series is called the Milan mission, and goodness me, isn't this going to be a mission? I don't know how familiar you lot are with how the fortunes of AC Milan have been over the last few years. Spoiler alert, I wasn't very familiar with it at all. I had to read about it. But it's not been going great for this once great football club. If we have a look back over their previous few years, they did win the league 5 years ago. But since then, they've had a second place, a third place, an 8th place, a 10th place. This season, you haven't gotten there, but they've just had in real life was a 7th place. This isn't a team that's challenging for the title in Italy anymore. It's a long way away from the team that won 7 Champions Leagues. If we have a look back at their history, look, 7 Champions Leagues, 18 league titles, massive club. Have won the Champions League as recently as 2007, and as I say, won Serie A as recently as just 5 years ago. But times have changed. The money has run out. As you can see, we have no transfer budget left. We only had £5 and a bit million to spend in the first place. We'll get on to transfers in a minute. There's not many of them because we didn't have any money. But the money has run out. The star players have all moved on. If we have a look at our squad, there's not much in the way of star power in there. And on a positive flip, if we have a look at the season preview, we're predicted to finish 4th this year. I think that's incredibly ambitious, and in fact the board are just looking for Europa League qualification for us this year, which I think means top 5 or win the cup, but I guess we need to do top 5. In positives, we don't have any of this pesky European football getting in the way, and the goal of this save, and this is going to be the last save I do running up into FM17 now, but the goal of the save is to get Milan back to where they once were. We want to be winning the Champions League. We want to be a major European force. So task 1, get back into the Champions League. Task 2, win Serie A again. And task 3, we want to win the Champions League at least once. We've probably got time for about 5 seasons between now and FM17, so we need to move fairly quickly, which is easier said than done when we've not really got any money to spend. The Italian league is a bit rubbish, so only the top 3 go into the Champions League, and yeah, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be interesting. So if we have a look at the transfers that we have made, lots and lots of fringe players and youth players have gone out on loan. We don't need to concern ourselves with any of them. We've only been able to make one signing. We had £5 million to spend. We've spent £5 million, probably not in the way you would imagine we'd spend it. Again, I don't know anything about this foreign football stuff. I've never heard of this guy. I assume he's real. He looks like he's got a real face. He's played for Turkey lots of times. No idea. But he's exactly the kind of player we needed because we didn't have anything in the way of a defensive midfield player. Plus, we were a little bit weak for cover at centre-back and in central midfield. So he's not coming in with a view to him being a regular first-team starter necessarily, which, when you've only got £5 million to spend at a club like AC Milan, you're not going to be signing regular first-team starters. You have to be a bit picky and choosy, and I could have gone the route of bringing in a youngster or two to strengthen us 2 or 3 years down the line, but we need immediate action this season. I think this guy might be a route towards getting that. So he spent the last however many years at Fenerbahce. He was previously at Galatasaray, Valencia, so he's been around a little bit. Spent most of his career in Turkey, but had a little flirtation with Spain for a few years, and he's going to be coming in to just offer a little bit of oomph to our squad and allow us to play with a holding midfielder when situation dictates that we do that. The tactic that we're going to be playing now, don't all shout. I know this is the one we've used before, but when we had the pre-season backroom advice meeting, they recommended 2 tactics. This one and this one. So the reason we signed the chap we signed, Topol, is so that we could play this one, because we didn't have a holding midfield player. So he's there so that we can play this system, which we will do sometimes. That's our less attacking system. But the board want us to play attacking football, and we've got a squad capable of playing in this shape. So if we're going to play attacking football and we're going to play a 4-3-1-2, got to use the system we're already familiar with. So this is how we're going to be lining up today. Injury-wise, we're doing okay. We've got one player out injured at the moment, who I forget who it is, and I've turned off players who are unavailable. That Luca Antonelli is out injured, but he would probably only be our backup left back anyway. So we're effectively able to pick a first choice 11 for this first game of the season. And we'll have a little look and meet the players. So we've got Diego Lopez in goal, 33-year-old Spanish goalkeeper. Ordinarily, I'd be saying we'll be looking to replace him within a year or two, but obviously we have Donnarumma knocking around in the reserves, only 16 years old, but would be expecting him to drift into the first team within a year or two. A back four of Ignacio Abate, who can play at right back or in midfield, Italian international. And then at left back, for the time being anyway, where's he gone? Why are my screens not working? At the moment we have Mattia Di Sciglio. I'm tempted to sell him because I can't say his name properly, but also probably going to have to sell him to Chelsea. They've come in with, they started with an £8 million bid. Most recently they're up to about £15 million. It's going to get to the point where we kind of have to sell him, especially because we've already got Antonelli at the club, who's as good as he is as a left back. Although apparently this guy can play right back as well. Well, you know, he's natural at right back as well. But we've got Abate at right back, so we don't need a real top quality backup for the two fullback positions. And if we can get Chelsea up to about £20 million and have a little bit of spendy for the last week of the transfer window, the temptation is definitely there, but we haven't done anything on that just yet. Centre backs, Gustavo Gomez, 22-year-old Paraguayan, who doesn't even have a picture. I mean, that's how much of a superstar he is. Doesn't even have a face picture. And then we've also got Alessio Romagnoli, 20-year-old Italian, but uncapped, untried really, but Milan have just spent an absolute ton of money bringing him in from Roma, despite him barely playing a game for Roma, but he did spend a season out on loan at Sampdoria, where he played lots of games, so I guess he's probably going to be quite good. He's a key player, apparently, despite him only being 20 and uncapped. Then in midfield, as our ball-winning midfielder, we've got Jose Mauri, 19-year-old Italian. This is one of the weaker positions, and in fact, we probably could play Topol in this position. We're not today, purely because he's not match fit. So Mauri plays today, but Topol will probably be in that slot fairly soon. And then Andrea Poli, 25-year-old Italian, going to be our roaming playmaker. And then in the box-to-box midfield role, we have Andrea Bertolacci, a 24-year-old Italian. Again, a couple of little caps and a stupid squad number. That seems to be a bit of the theme in Italy. Stupid squad numbers and all the subs in the history of the world. 12 subs for a league game. What a world we live in. And we have got Bonaventura, who could come into that midfield as well, but similar to with Topol, not fully fit. So, and also same with Montalivo, he could come in as well, but none of them really being considered today because they're not fully fit yet. In our trequartista position, we've got Jose Sosa, a 30-year-old Argentinian who's actually played some games for Argentina and can play anywhere across the midfield and up front. And then up front, probably our weakest area, and if we did manage to sell Siglio, let me know in the comments. I haven't got a clue. If we did manage to sell him, we'd probably be looking to invest in a forward. But for now, we're going with Luis Adriano, 28-year-old Brazilian, who has played a couple of caps for Brazil. Hasn't scored a goal yet. Came in from Shakhtar for not a massive amount of money, but untried in Italy. We'll have to see if he turns out any good. And then Carlos Bacca, 28-year-old Colombian, again with a silly squad number, and again new to the club, having come in from Sevilla for quite a lot of money. So they're untried. We'll see what they're like. I'm not holding out any great hope for those forwards, which means we might end up playing this system more often than you'd expect, because it means we only have to have one striker and bring in an extra midfield player. And if we're not going to score goals, we can at least try and be a bit solid at the back. So that's our team for today. We're playing Udinese. Let's go and beat them 8-0. We have already played a cup game where we really laboured to beat Juve Stabia 1-0 in the third qualifying round of the Italian Cup. So, take what you will from that. Doesn't bode very well. We did draw with Real Madrid with a goal from Marouane Chamakh, who was here on trial. Didn't sign him, though, because I remembered he was Marouane Chamakh. And he's gone and signed for Bournemouth, I think. But he scored probably our highest scorer in pre-season. So, again, read into that what you will about the quality of our forward line. Oh, this is going to be painful, isn't it? We're giving out a squad number for a youth goalkeeper who's not Donnarumma, because I think Donnarumma's playing for the youth team today. Why not? I don't know who Danilo is. I guess he plays for them. We've left him out because he's not fit. We don't need to play him. Right. I thought I told you to automatically apply all this. Oh, you have. Okay. Excellent. Right, let's get into the game. And hopefully we can start the season off with a win, because a couple of games have already been played, and Juventus, Roma, Napoli already starting to... Oh, look at that. We've scored after less than 2 minutes. Carlos Bacca saying to me, "Whoa, what's all this, Governor? What's this I hear about you looking to replace me? Talk of signing a new striker. This club have just spent £20 million on me. You're not going to be replacing me." That was quite a good little finish, actually, in a crowded penalty area. I don't know why all this nonsense is on. We normally, hide pitch windows during replays. That's what we need on. I thought I had everything set up. Clearly, I haven't. Right, well, that's a promising start. Hopefully we can keep that up. I'm on board with us scoring after 2 minutes every game. Look, we're not getting any possession of the ball, and we've only had one shot, but we're 1-0 up, so who gives a monkey's? Job for this season is to just try and qualify for Europe by any way or means possible. We're not a good enough team to go and win the league. If we manage to, then this game's just silly, because you've seen from what we've got available that we're not any good. However, let me know in the comments. I know nothing about Italian football. I think that's why you lot have amused yourselves by selecting Milan as the team that I'm going to manage. I didn't even have Italy turned on the non-league to legend save. That's how little I know about Italy. But how are Milan in this much of a mess when they only won the league 5 years ago? What's happened there then? It's less than 10 years since they've won the Champions League. I repeat, how are they in this much of a mess when they're one of Europe's greats? If you ask me, as someone who doesn't really follow Italian football, I would still say they were one of the top 3 clubs in the country. I'm a bit confused that they've been finishing mid-table for the last 3 years. What's happened there then? I assume that... look, the San Siro has a capacity of 80,000 people. There's less than 40,000 people in the ground. What's going on there then? I don't understand what's happened with Milan. Unless they've never filled the ground, but when they used to be on Channel 4 on a Sunday afternoon, they used to fill the ground, I think. It looked full. Perhaps they only had the camera focusing on the bottom tier. Right. We probably need to be looking at making some changes, because despite the fact we're 1-0 up, it is hiding the fact that we're not getting any possession at all. And that was Udinese's first shot on target, and if they're going to start coming at us a little bit, we are in no fit state to defend ourselves. How are we managing to survive on 36% possession? We're supposed to be playing an attacking system. I don't understand what's happening. We're not going to win many football matches not having the ball, are we? This is ridiculous. Look at all these substitutions we've got to choose from. Can he play as an attack? He can play as an attacking midfielder. He can come on then. So we'll bring him on for Sosa. And then I feel like bringing on a midfielder. We'll bring on Topol as well. Bring him on for Mauri. We talked about doing that before the match. He can come on. We can meet the new guy, Mr. £5 million. We've got the whole squad here. I like to keep quite a trim squad, certainly in the early days at a club. I'm worried I'm not going to be able to fill this bench sometimes. I've got rid of all the youth players and sent them out on loan. I didn't realise we were going to have more substitutes than first team players. It's ridiculous. Right, here we go. Another goal coming at you now. Discilio into Luis Adriano. And there you go. Both the strikers have scored now. They're both trying to prove a point that they don't need replacing. Had my doubts about them before the match. This tells you, Cameron. Look, see, we both scored goals. That's, again, a tidy little finish. Perhaps we don't need a striker. Perhaps, in light of the fact he's just got an assist as well, we keep the left back. Don't worry about a striker. We're going to score again. We're still not getting any possession of the football. We're supposed to be playing attacking, but really, we're doing Leicester style. We're just sitting back, counter-attacking. It's 3-0. How rubbish must Udinese be? Because we're rubbish. But we're top of the league at the moment. Oh, we're going to win the league. Champions League victory in our second season, and I look like the greatest hero in the history of football management games. That would be I'd like that on a T-shirt. We're not going to make it 4-0, surely. This is going to set unrealistic expectations, both from the board in-game and from you lot watching. I want to really emphasise the stats. Look at the stats. We're not as good as the scoreline is suggesting at the moment. Don't expect results like this all the time. I can't imagine we're picking up many new viewers at this time of year. You've all been here before. You know we're not going to win every week, but I feel the need to let you know anyway. We'll bring on Montelivo as well. Which way round do these two want to be? It doesn't really matter. Neither of them like the position I'm asking them to play in. We've got quite a lot of midfield players. Why did I sign another one? I think he was probably just the only player we could find who there was a gap in the squad for. Oh, it's because we needed a defensive midfield player. I remember now. I explained that earlier in the episode as well. You'd think I'd remember that kind of thing. I should rewind and check what I've said. Oh, look. Offside. Our left back's offside. There you go. Now you know it's a Chapman team. Our full-backs are getting offside and we've not got any possession, but we thumped a team with direct football and good finishing. And the assists came from the full-backs. Welcome to Kev Football. There we go. So we're top of the league after one game. I assume we'll just stay there all the way through. Oh, we're not top. We're second. Adriano's second top goal scorer. Sosa's joint top on assist. Lopez joint top on clean sheets. This management looks easy, isn't it? If you've enjoyed that episode, make sure you pop a like on there for me, as it's the first episode of a new series, which is going to be the last one we do on FM16. It would be awesome and amazing if we could get this episode to 200 likes. So if you could pop a like on there and then tell all your friends and family to come along and pop a like on there as well, that would be much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. Check down in the description because I have started my FM17 giveaway as well, so make sure you click down in the description so that you can see how you go about entering that. It's basically just clicking a button to confirm that you subscribe. It's really easy. And thank you very much for watching.